So I guess that's a very difficult question for me to answer how much fat we need. The answer is so much more complex. But what I would say is that rather than trying to work it out on the back of an envelope, the way we have eaten naturally throughout history provides us with what we need. So if you're, and seed oils weren't a part of our natural diet, so don't eat seed oils. Saturated fat was, and if you're eating meat, if it's pastured meat, you can get a lot of omega-3 as well as omega-6. So just making sure that you're eating food that's been raised naturally and packaged naturally, and you're going to get all the right components of the fat that you need. Now, interestingly, I was on a holiday recently. We had a long weekend, and so we went to a supermarket. It's a bit of a bespoke supermarket in Australia. It's called Harris Farm. It's sort of, it's in nicer towns. Yeah, but a bit more expensive. But I like to have a look, and I was on holiday, so I had a bit of time. And they had some tallow, and they had Wagyu tallow and grass-fed tallow side by side. Now, I wish I could share. I took a photo of them with you. Now, you had this beautiful yellow colouring in the grass-fed tallow, and we know that Wagyu is just fed grains, and that was just completely white. So we can clearly see the differences in nutrition between grass-fed and grain-fed meat. So that does actually make a difference. Now, I'm not saying grain-fed meat is bad, but it certainly does miss out on some of the nutrients that we have in the grass-fed meat. So if, for example, you can only afford grain-fed meat, then it would be well worth making sure you're having some sardines or something like that that's going to be giving you these other fats that you're probably going to be missing out on. So, clearly diet is more important than exercise for overall health. However, the option that you've just given is not perfect for everybody. The option of butter and steak. For example, we know that dairy for a lot of people is a problematic food. The truth is that we do see lots of people who have reactions to dairy, and it causes far more problems than I think people appreciate. Now, obviously, butter is mainly fat, and you could always go to clarified butter, which is ghee, which has even more fat content, less protein content. So, but just be mindful that this is not a one-size-fits-all diet. And, sometimes foods which are, say, for example, considered carnivore, animal-based, some people might assume, well, it's animal-based, therefore it's going to be okay. Well, for some people, those foods are not perfect. And the reality is there's going to be some plant foods out there that a lot of people will be able to tolerate. So, and I think this actually, maybe we don't have time for it now, but leads to a bigger conversation about what has changed about our food supply now. We know that the fruits and vegetables we're growing today are completely nutrient deficient because of the way we've treated the soil compared to what they were 50, 80 years ago. So we know, for example, in some regions, the amount of copper in a vegetable is about 75% less than it used to be. Completely nutrient deficient compared to what they were. And we've got oodles of pesticides through our food now. And I just saw yesterday that there was another lawsuit against, I think it might Monsanto or something like that, where they paid out another 70 or however many $1 million in a cancer lawsuit. And we've got, if you just have a look at all of these lawsuits going on around the world with pesticides and causing cancers and so on and so forth, it makes a fascinating reading, and it really should ask the question, are these pesticides safe for us to be consuming now? And authorities will have us believe that they're completely safe, and there's lots of legal cases on at the moment where people would suggest that they're perhaps not as safe as we'd think. So the whole thing is it's not just, all vegetables are necessarily bad, but perhaps the vegetables we're having now, which are depleted of nutrients and probably containing, several different pesticides, that could be a problem.